Ends 0-0 at Elland Road. I don't know. It's a bit of a draining game, really. I wasn't excited at any point during that game, really. I'm not going to lie. Didn't really live up to the name. Didn't really live up to the rivalry, which is unfortunate, but it's a point. And, I mean, realistically, our Premier League top 4 status was pretty much secured before the game anyway, but you know, those are the sort of games you want to be winning, especially away from home. You know, we haven't played there in the league for 16 years. You know, you want to be winning those games, but at the end of the day, you know, it doesn't mean too much to us really at this point. As I said, you know, as a rivalry, yeah, of course you want to get the win, but it almost just doesn't. I don't know whether it's just the Super League stuff that's happened this week or you know what's happened, but it doesn't even feel that bad. It doesn't. Drawing that game does not even feel that annoying. It doesn't even feel that frustrating to me. I don't know whether that's just, you know, I'm wrong for saying that, but it just doesn't. I don't know if you guys would agree, but honestly, I don't know what it is. As I said, I don't know whether it's just because of the fallout of this week or what, but it just doesn't even feel that bad, really. Usually after a frustrating draw, I'm pissed off, but I'm not. I don't even care that much, to be honest. But I will go through the game for a bit, and you guys can have your say in the live chat as usual. Also, get your thoughts on the comment section down below as well. Who is your man of the match from both sides as well? Because obviously it was a draw, so we can't just say that there was one team that had a man of the match in it. And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and all that sort of good stuff, as we usually do. But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to talk about. I mean, really, the big headline is a lack of quality in the final third from both sides, not just United, but from Leeds as well. You know, we did create chances. I think the best chance we had was a free kick, to be fair. I think Rashford's free kick was the best chance we had, the closest we came to scoring, which kind of tells you all you need to know. If a free kick's the closest you come to scoring. But it was a decent free kick, to be fair. He did his kind of technique, knockable technique, and Meze did well to, you know, tip it round the post. But other than that, you know, we didn't really have too many decent shots on target. We had a few shots on target, but they can't just dribble to the keeper. I mean, there was no real menace. There was no real clinical edge to our play. And as I always say, you know, when we're clinical, we can beat anyone. You know, we could beat PSG, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, anyone. Doesn't matter. If we're clinical in front of goal, we'll beat anyone. But if we're not clinical in front of goal, you're going to have draws like this. And we've had it all season when we played big teams that we haven't been clinical enough. And obviously Leeds isn't a kind of top 6 team, but it's a rivalry, and we've had it all season where we played these teams in these big games, big fixtures, and we've come up short in the goals department. So, you know, realistically, it's frustrating because we've seen it before. But at the same time, because we have seen it before, it's not even that surprising, really. I mean, I thought there'd be goals. I'm not going to lie, I did think there'd be goals in this game. I thought that you know, yeah, I thought there would be, well, just more. I thought there'd be more quality in the final third, to be honest, but there wasn't. And it's just, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? That both sides are going to be, you know, going home and kind of thinking we could have done something today. We could have won that game. We could have nicked it at the end. I mean, Leeds had a few decent chances. Most of their chances, to be fair, came from like long range efforts. Most of them were just kind of long range shots that were really pretty simple for Dean Henderson to deal with. But yeah, neither keeper really had to make an outstanding save. You know, neither keeper really had to, you know, work that hard today. And yeah, it is what it is. You know, we just kind of have to move on from it. I think probably my man of the match on the United side would be Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I thought he was class today. I thought he really was. You know, the way he kind of defended, I think especially in that first half, he was brilliant in that first half. His ball retention was brilliant, and he did create a few opportunities. I think he created one in the second half of Bruno Fernandes. He just scuffed his shot wide of the far post. So, you know, I thought Wan-Bissaka was great today in terms of defensive abilities and also going forward. I thought he was pretty decent. Luke Shaw as well, I think he created 9 chances in that game. I think he created the most amount of chances on the pitch from left back. So again, Luke Shaw, you know, he's just in good form at the moment. He's doing really well for himself. So, you know, Luke Shaw as well. So I think the 2 fullbacks for me have got to get respect for their performances today. I thought they were good. Other than that, it's hard to pick one out, really. It's hard to pick one out. I think Greenwood was alright, although obviously, you know, didn't really take his chances when he got them, but overall, his overall play was pretty decent. And apart from that, I can't really pick out too many players. I mean, I can go through what I thought of Ollie as well, because I think that Ollie, you know, I think he made a few, mistakes in the game, I think. I'm not sure if you can call them mistakes, but I think he did some stuff that I definitely wouldn't have done, or I would have changed. I think, for me, Paul Pogba has to start that game. We talked about it in the preview. Bruno Fernandes does look a lot better when Paul Pogba's next to him. And, it showed today. Fernandes had an off game, and I think the last time he scored was in the 4-0 win. Was it the 4-0 win against Granada? Or he might have scored, or was it Sociedad? I think the last time Bruno Fernandes scored an open play goal was against Sociedad. So, this is the thing. This is the kind of thing I don't understand, really. I don't understand how Pogba doesn't start that game. But, obviously he came on and he kind of looked to make stuff happen. But by the time he came on, it was a bit late anyway. And also, just in front of goal, I just think we weren't brilliant today. I think as well, you just got to take that into account. Sometimes we're clinical and other times we're not. And recently we have been clinical, but now we haven't. So, I don't know. For me, it's hard to say that we played really badly, because I don't even think we played badly. I just think we didn't really put the chances that we made away. I think we made chances, but we just didn't put them away. And we could have easily on another day come away from that game with a 1-0 win or a 2-1 win, but we didn't, because we just didn't put our chance away. And sometimes there are games like that. Obviously, that does count towards how well you play if you can put your chance away, obviously. But at the same time, I just don't know if you can really. I don't know if you can really blame the players too much today, apart from obviously the forward players that missed their chances. Harry Maguire, by the way, how many times he gets on headers from crosses, the amount of times he actually meets the cross and it goes over the bar it's just ridiculous at this point. It's ridiculous, but we know that, again, it's not something that's new. Again, this is not something that's new. We all know that Harry Maguire can't keep his headers down. And if he could, he'd get 15, 20 goals a season. Simple as that. But yeah, I think, we defended fairly well. I thought that Lindelof played. I thought, to be fair, probably the best part of our game was our defence. I think our back four was probably the best part of our game. Midfield, a bit anonymous really today. Didn't really do much. Bruno Fernandes included in that. So, yeah, I think defensively it was our best part of the game. But then Leeds didn't create much. I'm going to be honest, Leeds didn't create much. And I think Marcelo Bielsa came out after the game and said his selection that he picked was obviously a bit more defensive. It stopped us going forward, but it also meant that they couldn't get forward as much. And obviously, Patrick Bamford, I saw, was always isolated up front. And probably he doesn't usually get isolated, because obviously Leeds are a much more attacking team. They like to be on the front foot usually, but obviously they changed their style of play for this game, and they got a point out of it, so you can't really complain too much if you're a Leeds fan, really. It's a decent point for Leeds, so yeah, I'm sure they'll be happy with it. Maybe they'll think that they could have nicked it, but I think they'll be happy with the point. I think if you gave them a point before the game, I think they would have ripped your arm off. So yeah, they're not going to be too unhappy. But all I'm hoping is when fans are on the ground next season, we see a lot better quality than that. We have to see a lot better quality than that, because it was poor, really. It was poor from start to finish. I think the commentators, I can't remember what stream I was watching, but the commentators kind of were mentioning that as well. So yeah, all round, it was a poor game of football. But obviously, as not because we're not neutrals, obviously it wouldn't have been a boring game to watch. But yeah, it was just as Dazza says here, it was a cat game. It was a cat. Thanks for joining, Dazza. Appreciate it. Always good to see you, mate. Yeah, it was a cat game. It was. And as I said, our Premier League kind of top four status is secured, really. We don't have to worry too much about that anymore. It's pretty much secured. So, as I said, the Europa League on Thursday is the big one. That's the big one. And some people are saying we are resting Pogba and Cavani for the Europa League game. But we still put out a pretty strong side. I'm thinking, if we really were resting players, you would think that Bruno Fernandes wouldn't have played. Maybe one of Scott McTominay and Fred wouldn't have played. So I'm not sure if Ollie was really resting players. I think he was going for that game, and I just think that maybe he thought that Pogba didn't suit the system. But for me, I would have started both of them. I would have started both Pogba and Cavani, because Cavani's on a great run of form. Greenwood, for me, even though I think he's a decent number 9, I think he's been much more effective recently on that right-hand side, so I would have played Greenwood on the right-hand side. But it is what it is, isn't it? Ollie makes the decisions. I don't think he got them all right today. I thought his team selection was a little bit off. But again, yeah, as I said, I haven't got much to say about this game really. It was just summed up by the fact that we didn't take our chance in front of goal, and you do have games like that sometimes. But it does seem like we've seen this pattern before, especially when playing the big sides, when playing the decent sides. You always get those. I mean, that's why we've had like 0-0 against City, 0-0 against Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool. It's the exact same reason, because we create chances, but if you don't take them. We can defend as well as we want, but if you don't take those chances, it really doesn't matter. So, yeah, I think that's pretty well how I'd sum up that game anyway. But I'm not going to be live for much longer, so if you've got any last kind of comments, please do get them in. But as I said, the league feels a little bit irrelevant right now for us. Obviously, we don't want to kind of fall off a cliff and lose every game to the end of the season, but it feels a little bit irrelevant. And realistically, the Europa League's the big one. Europa's the one that we want to win. We want to win a trophy. Ollie will want to win a trophy as well. So, Europa League is the big one. And that Roma game on Thursday night is massive. We need to get a great start in that tie. Because we need to be able to set up for the second leg. And I think we've done that in our previous ties, really. I think against Granada and against Sociedad, we've set it up so that the second leg doesn't have as much pressure on it. And we need to do the same thing against Roma. And obviously Roma are going to be a decent opposition. Obviously, we said that about Granada and Sociedad, to be fair. But I genuinely believe Roma are going to be our toughest test yet. And yeah, we've got to do the exact same thing we did against those two teams. Finish the tie more or less in the first leg. And then, in the second leg, we can still play a strong team because we need to make sure we get through. But you have that cushion, and it just changes your mentality going into these games, and it changes the way you play. So I think that's what we've got to do. But, that's obviously coming on Thursday. I'm looking forward to that one, though. It's been a while since we've been in a Europa League. Oh no, it was last season, wasn't it? It was last season. But this is a big opportunity for Ollie. We can't just keep bottling semi-finals. We've got to win one at one point. And this is a massive opportunity. Over 2 legs against Roma, who I think my sources are telling me Roma are losing against 17th place in Serie A. So they're clearly just focusing on the Europa League as well, to be fair. I think they know that Europa League's the only way they're going to get Champions League. So it's a big game for them. Massive, because obviously we pretty much already... We know we're going to get Champions League next year, whether we win the Europa or not. But obviously for Roma, it's a different story. So they're going to be right up for it. And, with the players they've got, it's going to be a very, very interesting game, no doubt about that. But I think we'll come out on the winning side. I think we will get through the semi-final. I'm positive. You've got to be positive, even though I've just watched that shower of shite. I'm still positive. Now says, I know I said I didn't mind DJ starting before the game, but he didn't cover himself in glory. He didn't. I don't think it was his best performance. I think, again, decision-making from Daniel James, that's something which, we've kind of taught and criticised him a little bit for his decision-making, and today it wasn't brilliant, to be fair. Leeds dealt with him well, and I think they knew the threat that Dan James posed after, obviously, he terrorised him in that first game at Old Trafford. So I think Leeds know how good Daniel James could have been and how destructive he could have been, and they neutralised him. So, fair play. But yeah, James, he didn't have his best game. And that's why I think maybe Greenwood should have been on the right-hand side, and maybe if Cavani was fit to start, and if he wasn't fit to start, then I think Ollie made the right decision. But if Cavani was fit to start, I would have put him through the middle, because I think that, Greenwood on the right, Cavani in the middle, and then even Pogba on the left-hand side. If Rashford's not fit, he didn't look fit at all really today. He was off colour as well. I just think that, I just think that, coming off the back of how we played against Burnley and how we played against Spurs with that front three. I know obviously Cavani didn't play against Burnley, but, coming off the back of how we played with that front three, I just feel like, don't change something that's a winning system. Don't change it. But obviously Ollie does what he does, and that I didn't agree with that. I have to say I didn't agree with it. He could pose a threat. Did you not see the last game at Old Trafford? I'm sure you kind of, with your anti-Dan James tinted glasses on, you watched that game and thought, oh, he was shit. But yeah, listen, he could have posed a threat. If they played a high line, but that's what I was saying in the preview. I was saying that defensively they're not that team that play the high line anymore. They're not that team that you can get. We got in behind them a few times today, but I remember at Old Trafford it was just routine, getting in behind them, playing ball down the side, playing the ball through, and their defence was shocking at Old Trafford, but they really shored it up. And I think, talking to that Leeds fan on Rich's channel, it really did show that Diego Llorente came through, and they looked a lot more solid in that back line. I think that's what Bielsa knows, is that he knows if he can shore up that back line, they've got the players to score the goals that will keep them up every season. So, obviously he's done bits with that back line, and they did well today, to be fair to them, although we did waste quite a few opportunities. Our final pass was poor, but again, we've heard this all before. We've heard it all before. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Not much to talk about really tonight, so I think it's just better to keep it short and sweet sometimes. But if you want to leave your thoughts and comment on anything I've said, please do leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit that like button as well if you haven't already. Thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in. Really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. But until then, have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.